This is generating with the lower body, a movement pattern which builds off that opening and closing space movement pattern where we were previously extending the lower body to move a foot and then flexing the lower body into a removed hand. Towards the end of that, we are integrating it as a bit more dynamic movement where we're flexing and moving a hand, extending and moving a foot. And now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the idea of a movement which is far more efficient or require that you're more powerful. So where we simply can't lock off a hold and strength this movement out. So there's two distinct movements. We'll familiarize ourselves with both of them right now. And what we're going to do is get ourselves on a couple of decent handholds, feet on the ground. Those movements are going to depend on whether or not your feet are able to stay on. So if your feet have to be on to make this next handhold, then we're going to go ahead and get our hips into the wall and stand up. If our feet can cut or should cut, if it's a really big reach or to a good hold, then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stand up and then bring our hips from the wall. It's just a difference of the way that curve is, and we'll talk about why that'll be important soon. But let's go ahead and just familiarize ourselves with the movement. We've got my feet on the ground quite close to the wall. So that first one is going to be that dead point where I keep tension through here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my hips from the wall and come up like this. Okay, let's go ahead and repeat it. We're just going to get a little bit faster where we do like that. So I'm flexing at the lower body to pull myself into the wall. There's like extend out a little bit to then get myself going this way. Let's do that again. Okay, so hips driving into the wall, standing up. Next one will be where we're going to be cutting feet effectively, where I need to get my hips away from the wall. We're going to stand up to pull them back in. So what that looks like is right there, right? So let's do that one more time. Okay, that swing towards the end rather than that swing at the start, depending on where your feet are cutting. Now, a really essential element of this is the coil. So what you'll see is when I'm going to test the range of these holds, I am going to lean up, then I'm going to coil as far down as possible. So coiling just as though a snake were about to strike. There's not a good value in me doing and testing this a few times. You're just wasting energy. You can go ahead and feel out the range so you know when you're going to go ahead and jump off the ground, when you need to be making contact. But one time, coiling, uncoil. So same thing again here. So if I, instead of going to keep my feet on the ground, right? Let's go ahead and apply this skill now. So we're just going to get ourselves on some footholds and try to tag pretty high, jumping off or dead pointing into the wall. Be mindful you will fall off with this, so we're not really doing a specific sequence. So we'll get on here and we're going to get a couple decent footholds. So let's go ahead and we're going to jump as high as possible. So we're going to come out from the wall a little bit and then stand up. So notice I'm testing the range of that. Let me coil almost to the top of the wall there, right? Cutting feet. There's no way that I can maintain this. Like you can see, I'm almost at the extent of my reach right here. So if I were to catch that hold, my feet are definitely not staying down here, right? So there's going to be that whole hips out already because we coiled. We're going to generate and then bring the hips into the wall. So that again right here. See if you can actually make the top of the wall. Not quite. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do that dead point motion. We're going to try to keep our feet on the wall in this case. Simply tag a high position. So we bring our hips into the wall and stand up very suddenly. So we're still coiling in the same position, but now I flex into the feet and stand up, right? I've got a little bit more time on those toes before I fall off. So why we especially like it, because we get to continuously load those feet. So if I'm going to a more precise hold, like this smaller edge, I can keep those feet really tense through here. Let's see if I can go from lower even. Right? So I can make that, still keep the tension through the feet. That's why I'm bringing my hips in the wall, just like I was doing that flex closing space to keep the feet really weighted on there. And so I can get my hands, keep them very positive. So again, just that difference in movement style. Let's go ahead and apply it one more time where I'm going to go ahead and jump, get the hips away from the wall, stand up, hips into the wall, try to tag that hold. There we go, almost. Okay, now we'll do another one of that dead point style. I'm just going to go ahead and tag up as high as possible. We'll do this with the right hand this time. All right, So a little bit of precision. Now we're gonna try to acquire this. Obviously, because just not quite tall enough really for that movement, I wanna make sure that I've got a slightly higher set of feet because I just need to drive a little bit further with this. So we're gonna go ahead and start on these, doing that dynamic foot cutting position, where what I want to do is make sure I have to leave my feet. There's plenty of distance, so it's not a decision to me whether or not I'm gonna try to keep my feet on. For acquiring this, we're gonna go ahead and cut feet, right? Okay, on the blue one, so let's see if we can get further with this one. We're gonna have the hips away from the wall, we're coming right to there, right? So this is also the reason why this is good is, you notice how little my hips actually swung away from the wall. If I'm not on quite a jug and I go from the other position, let's see if I can do this and still leave my feet and not hit a lot of things on the way up. Well, I'm already swinging out further. I also didn't generate nearly as high because I was trying to keep my feet on with this where we're flexing in for longer. Let's try that one more time and see if I can hit it. But you'll see when I hit it, my hips are so close to the wall that I swing out further. So if it's a hard to hold, then I'm trying much harder with my hand. So let's see if we can get it. Yeah, you might have seen how much further my hips came away from the wall on that one. All right, now let's go ahead and we're gonna get low, try to tag these holds by driving through the feet and reaching up. Hopefully I set them well enough that I can actually do this. Full extent to the range, right? We got this. I'm keeping one foot on in this case. Let's go ahead and do the other side, but I drive those hips in the wall. Fully extended on there. This is pretty good. So there won't be an integration side as much to this because we're talking about the level of difficulty. We're already moving on a movement pattern. So you can think of that acquiring an integration side similar to this.